Hi everybody, Pepper here, and it's another episode of Storybook Reading with ACAPS. Today we're going to be talking about friendship and how in friendship we share our stories with other people. So we get a special book about that today, but before we get started, remember I told you my little elephant Puddles will be hiding in the background somewhere each time we read a story. And I'm wondering if you can help me find him. He has a pretty good spot, I think, but you'll have to look hard. Anybody see him? Do you? Oh, let's see. There he is. He's holding on by his trunk, hiding in the background. So Puddles says hi to you guys today. And today we're going to be talking about the book, The Little White Owl. Here it is, The Little White Owl. We're reading that book, and I brought an owl with me today, and a white owl at that. Owls are types of birds, and most of the time they like to stay awake at night. So we're going to find out what happens with this little owl and how it relates to friendship. Friendship is how we share our lives and our stories with other people in a positive way, where we listen to them and we tell them things about us, and it goes back and forth and we share stories together. So let's find out how a little owl learns how to share stories with other owls to make friendships. Here we go. Once there was a little white owl who lived by himself in the snow. He didn't have a mom. He didn't have a dad. He didn't even have a name. You see him there? What do you see that he has with him? He has a little teddy bear, and he has a clock. Is he white? Yes, he's a little white owl like the one I brought with me today. But he didn't really mind too much. He had always been like that, and his head was full of happy stories. So he liked having his time in the snow in that tree. Sometimes he was a brave white knight, and sometimes he was a snowflake, and sometimes he was a rocket blasting off to the moon. So he would use his imagination full of stories to think about things that he would like to do or pretend to do. Were they really happening? Did he really become a white knight? Did he really become a snowflake? Did he really become a rocket? No, he was just pretending. Like what happens whenever if we do Halloween or we dress up in costume, we put on a costume and pretend to be somebody else or something else. He was pretending. But every night at bedtime, he sat on his favorite branch, nibbling toast spread with strawberry jam and counting the stars by himself. Sometimes it's okay to be by ourselves. We don't always have to be with people. And he was content to be by himself just then with his own stories. But sometimes it's nice to find other people to share your stories with, and that's where friendship comes in. Then one day, he looked at the big blue sky that stretched on and on to forever. I wonder what's out there. So he's thinking thoughts. I wonder what's out there in that big world. So he packed his teddy bear and his clock. It was time to see the world. For days, the little white owl flew over turquoise oceans and deserts of gold. Then he spotted the prettiest trees sprinkled with tiny jewels, so down he swooped. If you look, you can see there's trees have something that looks like different colored things inside of them. I wonder what they are. Do you guys want to make a guess? Do you remember the cover of the book? Let's see if we can make a guess, which is called an inference. Remember what was on the cover of the book? All right, let's see if we can make a guess. What do you think's down here in this tree, in these trees? Owls, you think? I think you're right. Let's see. They weren't jewels in the tree. They were owls. Lovely owls. Owls like him. You were right. Look, all different kinds of owls. And the white owl said, "Would you like a taste of strawberry jam?" That's a great way to start a friendship, is by sharing. And he's showing that he's kind by sharing. But do the owls look like they're kind? Let's see their faces. I wonder what they're going to do. But the lovely owls sat quiet and still. They didn't want to spoil their perfect feathers. "How very plain you are," groaned the green. "No colours at all," sniffed the dotty red. "You don't belong with us. Go away." Was that very friendly? No. Telling people to go away who are trying to be nice isn't always the friendliest thing to do. And it won't encourage them to share their stories and their friendship with you even more. But this little white owl was a very friendly owl, and he decided to keep trying. "But I do have colors," cried the little white owl. "Here in my heart, and bumping up and down in me are lots of happy stories. I'll share them with you if you want me to." So he's still trying because he wants to make friends. He wants to keep trying to be kind and to share the stories that are in his head and in his heart. Stories that he thinks about and stories that he has warm and good feelings and exciting feelings about. The owl sat and thought. Then, sighed the blue. "A story might help pass the time." "Fine, but just one," said the flowery pink with a yawn. So the little white owl swung on a branch with his little teddy, and he munched his toast and shared a happy story. Oh dear, do those owls look very friendly? Their eyes are down. They don't look interested. Let's see if we can find one that might show a different look. Look, this one's eyes are wide, and he's looking at the white owl like with a smile on his face. Do you think he might be more interested? I think his face is telling us that he is. That's very sweet. Maybe he'll become a friend. Lots of times what we see, like our facial expressions, help us to know whether somebody's going to be friendly or not too. "Ah," breathed the blue owl dreamily when the little white owl had finished his story. The other owls all glared at her. "Oops, but couldn't we have one more?" Oh, wow. So the little white owl closed his eyes and magical stories came pouring from his heart. Colorful tales of castles and knights and dragons with fiery breaths. Ooh. And blasting through moonbeams and counting bright stars and tumbling down like a snowflake. All the stories that were happening inside his head, he was sharing with the other owls. You have stories happening inside your head too that you can share with people. You can share stories about what you're thinking about. You can share stories about how you're feeling. You can share stories about pretend. And you can share stories about what you would like to do sometime. Slowly, and rather to their surprise, the other owls began to smile. Ah, they breathed. Then suddenly, "More!" they cried. Look, their faces are changing. They're starting to show that they want to hear the little white owl's stories. They're starting to want to share in his stories. That's a wonderful thing. That's when friendships can start, is when we share each other's stories. At last, when all his toast had gone, the little white owl checked his clock. Gosh, I have to go, he gasped. Back to my sparkly home. I need to feel the snow and count the stars. But then a blue wing fluttered and a tail of dotty red began to twitch. What do you think the owls are going to do? What do you think? Since they've become friends with him, what do you think they'll do? They're going to go with him to visit. Take us too, cried the pretty owls, sweeping into the sky. We want to feel your fluffy snow and count your sparkly stars and play and laugh and tumble just like you. When we make friends, we want to do some of the things that they do, and they want to do some of the things that we do. So we share experiences, we share games, we share toys, we share thoughts because we talk about them. It's a wonderful way to share the stories of your life with another person. So the little white owl led them home, where they tumbled and twirled on the ice. Like splashes of rainbow, they speckled their snow, their colors brighter than ever. Look at that. They look like they're sledding. They look like they're dancing. In the snow, lots of great colors. Snow's pretty cold, but it's also slippery, so it's great for sledding. And then over here, they're sledding too. Check it out. Whoa, what fun! They're flying and they're throwing snow. So now they're sharing time together. Friendship is not only about sharing stories and sharing words and sharing activities, but it's also about sharing time. Now remember, it's okay still to be alone sometimes, but it's also okay to want to share your stories and your time with other people and make friends. Later, they huddled together and sipped warm cocoa. Tomorrow when we fly home, said the blue, the white clouds will remind us of you. Promise us you'll visit very soon. Oh, how do they look right now? Do they look grumpy still? Do they look like they don't want to be friends? No, because they're sitting close to the owl. They have happy faces, content faces. They're sharing space and time and stories together. They're friends. I promise, smiled the little white owl, and you can tell me all your stories. Then he snuggled up on his favorite branch. Did he ask to hear their stories too? That's a great thing to do for friendships. Not just to talk all the time, but to also ask to hear what other people's stories are about. And they want to share their stories too. And soon they were all dreaming happy dreams as a huge silver moon lit the deep dark sky that stretched on and on and on to forever. The end. Thanks for joining me today to talk about friendship. Remember, friendship is about sharing stories with other people, sharing time, sharing activities and things that you do with other people so that they become a part of your own story. And sharing stories means you don't just talk about your own that are in your head and your heart. You also listen to others talk about theirs. I hope you enjoyed Today with Storytime. Puddles says goodbye. Have a great day.